This is my review of Bleach Chapter 79. We open to Rukia being in her cell, and it's framed really cool. There's like these shadows. There's nothing on her. She's like right here. There's nothing on her, and then there's like the shadows of the bars of the cell coming down. You know, we giving you she's a prisoner kind of a thing going on. She asks if her sentence has been moved up, and Renji responds she'll be executed in 14 days. So they're moving her to the Senzai-kyu Shinshinro, which is essentially just a repentant cell. They cross a bridge to a giant tower. Rukia's face is covered. She's got a bunch of stuff on her to restrain her, I guess. As they get there, they release the cloth around her face. And Renji asks Rukia if she can see the out the window. There's like a window way above her, and you can just barely see through that window. And up above is the Sokyoku, a giant like halberd on the hill. It's really bizarre, but that's for when we get to that to talk about it. A member of the Keto Corps tells her that she can stare out the window and repent for her crimes while she's in the cell, because that's the point of it. And he releases the restraints around Rukia's hands. Renji runs up and tells Rukia about Ichigo and the other Ryoka that entered the Soul Society. But he neglects to mention that they encountered Gin. The cover is actually somewhat disturbing. It's like a picture of Rukia. She's being gagged with a cloth around her, like going across her mouth, obviously, and then it's like tied around her neck, so it's like it's choking her while it's gagging her. It's like just really strong imagery. And as Renji walks away, he thinks about how he didn't tell her about Gin and thought it was for the best, because Ichigo probably would have died since he did encounter Gin. And then we're introduced to new captain, Sosuke Aizen. It's strange that when Renji thinks about Gin, he just thinks of him as Gin, and with Aizen, he just thinks of him as Aizen. He refers to them as Ichimuro and Aizen. He doesn't refer to them as captain, whether thinking about them or in person, because he just calls Aizen Aizen. He doesn't refer to him as Captain Aizen. So that's, I think, very strange. Aizen wants to speak with him, and he begins reminiscing about losing Renji to Kenpachi, because Renji was at one point a member of Squad 11. And he remarks that now he's a member of Squad 6. Aizen then starts to inquire about Renji's relationship with Rukia. Renji's kind of confused and doesn't know what to say. Aizen says he knows about their past, and he asks Renji if he thinks that she should be killed for what she's done, and he doesn't really know what to say. And then Aizen goes into a thing about that Rukia's punishment isn't really befitting of the crime she committed, and that no non-captain has ever been executed by the Sokyoku before. All of this has been unprecedented. And then we see someone's been listening to the conversation, but the conversation is interrupted because all of the captains are summoned to a meeting. And then finally we cut away from that back to Kukaku, Shiba, Ichigo, and Ganju. She kicks Ichigo and punches Ganju because obviously she's missing an arm. And she berates them for attacking each other. Ganju tries to explain himself to his sister, but she won't listen. She kicks him again. She grabs Ichigo by the head, and she tells Ichigo that he basically has to listen to her when he's in her house. She begins leading the group to where they're going. She has Ganju open a door, and then they enter a large room with a barrel in it, and Kukaku reveals that she's going to launch them into the sky with this device, and from the sky they'll enter the Seirete, and then she says she's an expert on pyrotechnics. And then Kubo draws some of the examples of the other ornamental things Kukaku did with her house. Because now she has the big like arms that are holding the sign, and he shows at one point she had feet that were coming up out of the ground, these two big legs, and the sign was hanging from those. Another time it was a wrestler sitting on the house and he had like a belt on and the belt had her name. And then another one was a boy handing a girl a love letter and her name was written on the letter. So that's some bizarre shit, but it was pretty funny. Interesting chapter. It's mostly interesting for seeing the stuff in the Soul Society, getting to see more of it, being introduced to more characters. The stuff with Kukaku is mostly you just wonder about her past and why she's missing an arm and stuff. But as a personality, she's a fun character. I just wish we saw more of her in general. And yeah, I would talk about the Sokyoku, but I'll get to that when we actually get to the execution because it's a weird. The whole thing about it is weird. This, however, I think is the first time we see the Kido corpse, and boy, do they not ever do anything in the series. God, Bleach is just a story of missed opportunities, but again, I'm not even close to being able to talk about that yet. So for now, that's chapter 79.